Our first guest is here, Michelle Joy Phelps of Behind the Gloves. Ringside podcast she used to be on. It was for Sky Sports.
I honestly,
yeah, you don't even remember all her accolades. I do. She first. I remember. Let's see if I get it right. Right. So obviously she first started, and I believe her background was like modeling, and she did like a cover of Maxim modeling, and then she got into boxing. And I believe the first big thing she got was with Sky Sports and Spencer Fearon, and she was on the podcast with them. And from there, I believe the next big thing was she became the first female host for the World Boxing Super Series, right?
I remember that.
Yeah,
I do remember
for the first one too, the one with Dortitos and Usyk in them.
in Saudi.
So that was a huge one right there. And then I want to say from there she got picked up by Dazn, where her, Raheem, and Coogan were all on Dazn for that for some time, and obviously, I can't remember the other thing.
And it looks like we are ready for our first guest of the day. Founder of Behind the Gloves, and oh wow, I ain't getting dressed up this early in the morning. Shout out to Michelle, because I ain't doing that.
Bring me back, Austin.
I am not doing that.
I don't know what you expect a female to do.
I guess.
What he wants you to do, walk in here looking crazy, Michelle?
No, sweats. Sweats,
okay.
Sweats would have been adequate.
I mean, she's got
early.
She's got a role to portray, man. Okay. She's got to keep up her image,
absolutely,
man.
absolutely.
Stuck to the ground. Hi.
Hi, good morning.
I have my coffee, so I'm fine now.
Okay. Mic, headphones. How are you?
I'm blessed.
How long have you been in town?
Am I supposed to hear you in these?
Yes.
You're not?
Very minimally.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
All right. Boom.
Now I hear you.
Excuse me.
How long you been in town?
You live here now?
Yeah. Lived here for a year now. Probably been here like 2 months.
Right. Right.
So you haven't had a full blown August here?
No.
Okay.
No. I know.
You're avoiding. Do you try to avoid it?
Well, no. I mean, it's just the scheduling.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually, whenever I do have time, I'm back in California seeing my family. So I'm not usually home, but I'm trying to make more time for that because it's frustrating not being home enough.
So how accurate was I with your accolades? Did you get to hear me or no? Okay, so I said you started, obviously, well, we knew that you came in off of doing like a Maxim cover shoot. And then I believe your first boxing big thing was Sky Sports, the Ringside podcast, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then from there, am I right that the next biggest thing was World Boxing Super Series with the Usyk, you being the main female host for that, correct?
Yeah.
And then from there, Dazn.
I've done bits and bobs for different networks.
Okay.
So,
so fill us in.
So obviously I've done ESPN, Dazn, Spike TV, ITV. Just, I mean, great. I started on YouTube, so I'm always stoked when I can get a network job. I actually, I haven't announced this yet, but I'm actually kind of going into a new sport. I got offered a position. I signed the documents 2 days ago.
Oh.
For a whole new sport.
So what's the sport? Can you announce that?
You're going to laugh because call me very naive. The sport is quite new in the grand scheme of things. It's only been I guess, really growing the last 4.5 years. But apparently at the moment, it's the highest or the fastest growing sport to date. And it's called cornhole.
Oh, cornhole, yeah.
So
why am I the only one that doesn't know?
No, the beanbag toss. The beanbag toss.
We have to go do it because let me tell you something. I did a charity event and I never threw a beanbag. I've never played cornhole a day in my life. And I was like, all right, I can't go in looking stupid. It was like a celebrity matched with a pro, and then it was the Chuck Liddell. Greg Gaines, the NFL player, and Shamar Moore, and then myself. And so I finished third, but hey, I beat Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. Samara Moore, the actor?
Yeah.
From Criminal Minds?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. It was in his backyard.
Oh,
He has
really?
a full-blown setup, and it's called SWAT Cornhole. So they have their own, the SWAT cast has their own team.
Okay.
So I was invited in to do that, and the commissioner and I got to talking about boxing, and he was just like, yeah, I'm a big boxing fan. We're going back and forth, just enjoying myself, having a good time. And next thing I know is I got a phone call from the publicist, Marlon, and he was like, hey, Stacy was really impressed by you, would actually like to offer you a job. And now I'm the sideline reporter for Cornhole for CBS and ESPN.
That's amazing.
I've seen it on ESPN before.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
I know the one you did was streamed on ESPN, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it gonna allow you to still do boxing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said that, I thought you were walking away from boxing.
No, I needed a break from boxing. And I know most people wouldn't understand. They're like, what do you mean? You have the best job in the world.
Nah.
I'm not saying I don't. I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed.
I
but
get it.
There's, firsthand, you see what's
Right.
up. It's not just boxing. It's not just traveling. It was micromanaging 5 other people's schedules, travel, all the while still trying to maintain my own, doing my own interviews and getting my own content and still focusing on me. That's not even including being home to see family and relationships or anything. It's
you become a full-time business.
yeah.
It's difficult. I'm sure you need or have a personal assistant.
I don't.
But you need one, right?
I would love one.
Just to answer some of those emails and DMs.
Yeah.
Because it gets so difficult. Listen, I got 5 people running some of my accounts because I just cannot do everything. It's impossible.
Yeah, it is.
So I understand. Why would you need a break? I understand. It's like Ryan, when people question Ryan Garcia's mental health issues, I don't. I think that having a following as big as you guys have, you receive the amount of comments I get tenfold. So it's harder to deal with. So I get it, man. And going to a new sport, you'll bring in a new audience to this, venture as well. So that's pretty dope, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think it came out of nowhere. I mean, I literally had to laugh because I was like, really?
But look, it came because you knew boxing. Had you not been able to hold that boxing conversation with that man, maybe this doesn't happen. So
Perhaps,
that's amazing. Because look, like you said, you started on YouTube. So I know there's plenty of people that you've inspired. I've seen plenty of women come after you, and attempt to do what you're doing, and a lot of them are successful as well. So just congratulations to you and your movement. So what's next for you other than ESPN, which is probably the pinnacle, right?
Yeah, I've had my ESPN debut over in Ireland. So I was fortunate to do that. I still have the production sort of package, and I have it on my wall. It's like my ESPN debut. So I'm really looking forward to the CBS debut. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Never been on CBS before.
Oh wait, Cornhole's on CBS?
ESPN and CBS.
Oh wow,
both.
Yeah,
both.
I'm on both. Yeah.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Are those
No, they're not, which is funny.
right? I thought they were. You saying you're going to be on more. I'm thinking, the parent sister companies, but they're not. They're
No.
competitors.
No, they're not. Yeah.
That's amazing for you.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of exposure.
Yeah. I also didn't realize how many people watched. I mean, my brother, for example, was like, that's dope. I always watch it when it's on ESPN. I'm like, what? I'm so naive to things, but I had the best time. I love exploring this whole new environment that I'm about to walk into. I literally left the charity event with my cheeks hurting. I was laughing and smiling so much that it was just so different.
Yeah, yeah, because that's not normal for you,
No.
right?
What, laughing and smiling?
Right, because obviously you're very known for that laugh.
Yeah, that's your signature.
So how much do you think you're gonna step away from boxing? Do you think it's still gonna be obviously the big fights? I'm sure you'll be there for and things like that. But how much are you trying to stay? Step back a bit?
I love boxing. I would not be or have done it for 10 years at the capacity that I have done it if I didn't love it. I would have been gone a long time ago, or venturing off sooner. I think for me, what happened was I was burning the candle at both ends, and I lost my passion. I love it. I've just lost my passion for it. And I want to find it again. And I'm hoping stepping back and, you know, sort of switching things up, finding more time for myself, you know, and focusing on other things would help me bring that back. And I think it will happen. I just need to do it for my mental sanity right now. And what I mean by that is it's not boxing, it's the travel, it's the constant, like when I go over for England, I'm away sometimes 4 to 6 weeks at a time. And you're talking about living out of a suitcase, going from city to city, town to town in a different country, and different foods, different environments, different time zones. It does add
Take
up.
a toll.
Some people, they're only flying 3 hours away, or 3 hour time zone difference, and they're dead at the end of the week. So I don't know how I managed to do it as long as I have, to be honest.
Hustler.
Yeah, I mean, but it was just, many people didn't know this, but I was in a very dark place about 4 or 5 months ago. Very dark. Like, when I'm on, I switched on. When I was at work, I was smiling and laughing and doing what I had to do. But the moment I went back, it was like, it almost, I know this sounds weird because it's like I'm saying I need a break, but at the same time, it sort of saved me being as busy as I was, because the moment that I sat still, I felt like I was recognizing everything I was lacking because I was always so busy. So when I sat still, I was like, I miss my family. I'm lonely. Like the one word I could pretty much describe always was lonely. I was lonely. I wasn't depressed. I was lonely. And I don't think people quite understand that. It's a very, you get it. Like you go to these events, and you know, you work, you work all day, and it could be a bit isolating at times too, especially when you're traveling alone and you're in your hotel room.
Especially if you're a hustler, because you don't socialize. You're busy doing the interview, uploading the interview, delegating different things. Oh, I got to do a social media post. Wait, we didn't take a picture for the thumbnail. Yeah. Like, your mind doesn't stop working. People never understand that, you know. But, you know, at least you're dealing with some content creators, so we understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just had to find that balance. And I just remember, I remember my sister calling me, and maybe people aren't really going to relate to this if they're not spiritual, but my sister is very spiritual. I'm very spiritual. And she kept calling me, and it's weird because my sister and I, we talk, but we don't like talk all the time on the phone or anything like that. And so I thought it to be a bit strange. I was like, she keeps calling me, but I kept missing her calls. And eventually she's like, look, I can't reach you. So she wrote out this long text, and she said, I have been so emotional the last week. And when I'm praying, God keeps telling me that your sister's lonely. And it was almost like I was feeling your emotions. And literally my heart dropped the moment I read that message, because the word I kept using was lonely. And she didn't know that. I didn't tell her that. I didn't express that to many people. I just sort of keep it to myself. But it was like she needed to talk to me. When she did, she's like, I just want you to know, like, that, you know, you're loved and you're this and that, and you know, your family supports you and we're happy for you. But if you're not happy, you need to do something about it. And I knew the only way that anything was going to change is if I changed it. I mean, it's pretty much the basic principle, right? Like, if you expect change, you got to change something. And so I had to decide for myself, okay, I need to step back just a bit to reevaluate what it is that I really want in the long run. Because running a YouTube account, successful or not, you're still dealing with the ins and outs. You guys know firsthand how YouTube works. 1 minute, your CPM rates are through the roof. The next minute, it's not. You can have a video do 100,000 views and you made $100. You can have a video do 30,000 views and you made $500. You just don't understand. It's not like a set system. So it wasn't like every single month I was like, I know what I'm making because these views are rolling in. It meant nothing. So it was like the constant pressures of having
very volatile.
Yeah, it's the constant pressure of trying to to keep the content going, keep the business going, keep the sponsors happy, do all of these things. And it was just like, it got to be a bit overwhelming. And that's why I was like, okay, I need to hire someone to sort of run the day-to-day stuff with the other correspondents and just let me focus on what I enjoyed doing initially, which was creating the content and getting the interviews and doing that. But I wasn't able to do that anymore because I was spreading myself way too thin. So, sorry, that was a really long
No, that
out.
divine energy is special. That's
Yeah.
a crazy story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to listen to it now. I
How are you
ignored it.
doing now?
I'm really good.
I'm glad you took it, because I feel like it's something that came out of nowhere, right? And I kind of felt like that with this. I'm like, there's a reason it happened, so I feel like there's a reason you got that opportunity.
Well, it's funny because had I not made that decision to sort of step aside or just take a break for a moment, and the opportunity did come, I wouldn't have taken it because I would have been in a completely different mental space. I would have been thinking about, oh, no, I can't do that because I wouldn't have time because of this, and this. But because I had already sort of aligned everything and started figuring other things out to make it possible for me to have more time, that's the reason I'm able to go, I can do that. And it's not full time. I mean, it's 1 or 2 events a month. It's amazing. So it still gives me a lot of flexibility.
Okay.
And is it in a set location or?
No. No.
Okay.
So the first one is July 1st through 4th, and we're in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Danny's from Chicago.
Danny's hometown.
Yeah, we're in Chicago. And then it's August, I think 4th through 7th, and that one is South Carolina, which I'm excited to go to because I've never been to South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach?
Never?
Never.
Wow.
I've never been there, and I heard it's so beautiful.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Temecula.
That's California.
California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that considered IE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although Temecula actually borders San Diego.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like some of Temecula is actually San Diego County and some of it is
LA County.
Inland Valley
Oh, Inland Valley. Okay.
or the Inland Empire. Yeah.
Yeah. IE. Okay. That's
Interesting.
what I know they've done a lot of shows out there. What, there's a casino out
Yeah,
there?
Pachanga.
Oh yeah, the Golden Boy uses that a lot.
Yeah, I know that Showbox has done cards from there as well. Okay. Well, how was that like going from California to, I know you lived in Hawaii for a little bit as well.
Wow.
Yeah, as a kid, I lived in Hawaii for 3 years.
And then but just you were in the UK what, 3.5
3.5 years.
years?
I would have stayed if the pandemic didn't happen. It
Because
just
they
didn't
went
make
into
sense.
lockdown.
Like I was paying rent for 6 months and hadn't been home.
Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna have to figure this out because we didn't know what was gonna happen. So it was sort of like, do I keep paying? Like it's basically like a storage unit,
Yeah.
or do I just leave? And so I actually left all my furniture there.
Oh.
Kid you not, it was in the unit. I said I parted with it. What could I do? I had to have someone go into the unit,
and you can't
pack all
fly
my
it over
clothes.
there
No, I
anyway.
couldn't. Pack my clothes, put everything to a storage unit that we could take. And it was literally my friend Sarah who did everything for me. God bless her. And yeah, so all my furniture, everything stayed.
Wow.
I don't know what the owner did with it, but
He sold it. Or kept it. Or kept it. One of the two.
yeah.
Wow. So what would you say got you into your boxing journey? Because we're talking journeys in boxing since Deontay Wilder came out yesterday, and he said he can't end it like this.
Yeah.
And
Which I'm happy to hear, by the way.
exactly, he says that I must continue my journey. So what got you started into your boxing journey? Like you were modeling, why boxing?
Well, I mean, let's keep it 100. Modeling don't pay the bills. It might pay some, but it doesn't pay them all. I mean, look, I'm very transparent, very honest about like, what I was trying to do was be a TV host, like an entertainment host. That was my true dream. I would go on auditions. So basically I was a waitress and bartender, just to have the flexibility, put myself through school as a massage therapist. So I had that flexibility. I then went on to work for Equinox. I'm not sure if you are familiar with the gym.
Yeah, I love that gym.
Yeah, I
they're
worked at the
nice.
West LA one, the big one.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that's
the big
good
fancy
one. I think-
schmancy one. Yeah. So
It's a high-end gym.
yeah.
Okay.
I went on to work there. It gave me the flexibility to continue to do what I needed to do, which was the auditions and whatnot. And so, yeah, I was doing like catalog work, small time stuff. could never quite break it. But it's interesting because it prepared me for what I was about to get into. And it's funny because you have to have thick skin in the entertainment industry. I mean, you're literally told, and I was 120 pounds at the time. I was literally 30 pounds less than what I am now. Okay. I was like this thin and I was still too big.
Wow.
So the pressures was always there. Like it was never good enough. And so I was used to hearing that I was never good enough. So when I came on the boxing scene and there seemed to be like a lot of resistance with me initially, I don't think people quite understood like why I was there. I had that mentality of like, I'm used to people rejecting me. I'm used to people not accepting me.
But who got you to like, how did you know, like, I'm going to grab this camera.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up at this press con. Like, what got you into the sport?
Initially it was just creating videos of myself. I had like that Sony Bloggy. I don't know if you remember what it looked like, but it had like that little flip cam, and I didn't even have a tripod or anything. I literally just put the Bloggy up with a piece of tape over it, so it was eye level, and I would just talk about the fights that were happening that night, like the results. They're not up anymore. But
quality
I had to take those shits down.
Do you remember your first fight?
They're archived.
Do you remember one of the first fights that you started?
When I was blogging about it, it was the first one was Pacquiao and Bradley.
Oh wow,
the first one.
The first one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually seen that video. Let me tell you.
Did you?
Yeah, you showed it to me.
So I believe the first
remember.
time I ever seen you was in Gleason's in New York City.
Yeah.
And you were with Marcos. So how'd you connect with him?
So I saw him. I'm really trying to remember what it was. I think it was Provodnikov press conference.
Versus Bradley?
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. I just remember it was a Top Rank event, and we were in the hotel lobby, and Marcos was sat there, and then I was sat there with my friend. And he was like, "Hey, my name is Marcos." I'm like, "Oh, I'm Michelle." And that's literally the first person I met in boxing.
Boxing. It's funny. With me, Sean Zattel, who used to work for Ness, I was always a fan. But I would see Sean. I would go to gyms and I would go to anything that was open to the public, and I would always see him. So I got to know him a little bit, and I was gonna start my own YouTube channel that I have the logo on my desktop to this day. Really? And I was gonna start it, and I'm asking him questions, and he's like, "Hey, I just left the Boxing Voice. I'm with Fight Hype now. Reach out to Ness." And I get back from Afghanistan, and Ness just happens to be in Vegas that weekend, not for a fight, just happens to be in Vegas on vacation, and I'm like, "Hey, you down to meet up? I know you're here like on vacation." And he was like, "Sure." We had a conversation, and literally right there on the spot, he applied for my first credential. No experience, but just based off that conversation.
Yeah.
So,
That's how it works, though. I had no experience. I mean, aside from, going to auditions, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I mean, I loved watching boxing, but I didn't know how to do an interview. I didn't really think about all that. Like, it's a learning curve, isn't it?
It definitely is a learning curve, and I feel like for me, like I've been learning as I go, and every day is a learning process for me. But it's just really weird because people like, I feel like it's literally how boxing works. Different trainers have different styles, so I've been able to learn from you. I've been able to learn from Ness. I've been able to learn from so many different people. That some don't even cover boxing. There's certain TV, sport analysts that I, look up to that don't even cover boxing, but it's definitely a process. That's for sure. That's for sure. Did you ever get an agent? Because I know there's a couple people never got an agent, like in the boxing world. No,
everything I've ever booked, I've booked on my own.
Wow, amazing.
That's crazy because I know some people do get agents.
Yeah, I mean, Akin Barak. They came into it with agents.
You know, and obviously it's worked out for them, but
Definitely.
you know, I was just curious.
So we got some questions from the people. Rue in the 504 New Orleans says, what's been the most challenging thing about covering boxing?
Now I guess, or just overall. Overall. Probably the travel part. Honestly, because I don't really. It's interesting. I've grown so much. I really don't. Am I allowed to cuss?
Oh yeah.
Can I cuss?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Say it.
I was about to say I really don't give a fuck what anyone thinks anymore. Yeah. So I used to be so challenged by that, and now I'm just sort of like just do whatever I do, and so the biggest challenge used to be what people thought of me, and that I don't care anymore.
Well, yeah, travel's tough. Like we were just talking about Danny. So you're doing 2 shows today.
2 shows
then
today.
Then you fly out tonight for the Brooklyn, for the Rolly fight.
Yeah, I have a red eye tonight.
To Newark, and then he has to get from Newark to New York. So it's like,
but he's younger than you, so he still loves it, right? Because I'm like, damn, why? And he's like, no, man, I gotta go to the. Like he was just in Houston. Like I've been. Stop flying. I've been stopped. Like if it's not a big fight and I don't have a relationship with that, I'm not coming. I'm not. I'd rather be home.
And
travel's tough.
Travel's tough.
I know you said for you too, it was like an access thing, and I know Rob and a lot of the UK guys are like, yo, out there, we get escorted back to the locker rooms, and we're allowed to do like one-on-one locker room interviews. I know you said before it was a lot easier. Now it's like the access is a lot more.
Well, I mean, it's been 10 years. Like she said, it's been 10 years since we've been doing this. So like the amount of people that have watched people like her and myself get to this level, it's inspired hundreds of YouTube channels. So now it's like a million of y'all. I don't go. They treat you like paparazzi. Everybody's with cameras. You're fighting over the same interview. Oh, that's my interview. I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I do not have the time. It's not worth it for me. So, even with Canelo, it's like, what I'm going to do? Get in line with 50 other people and hover over their heads and I got someone's tripod in my shot.
I was just doing that for the Benavidez fight.
It's disgusting. It's hard. Then you get a Kanye-like fighter that turns around and is like, Jamal Charlo's your camera. And it's like, damn, I didn't, all I'm just trying to do. Like that guy that got his camera smacked, like, I don't know what he got it smacked for, but like, I'm sure he didn't know where to put his head after that moment. You know what I'm saying?
What happened? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Charlo smacked someone's camera and called them a dickhead and all this type of shit.
After the Jermell and Castano fight at the press conference, Australian reporter brings up Tim Tszyu, and obviously they're like, basically, I'm undisputed, I'm the best in the world, this is my moment, and he kept like bringing up Tim Tszyu. Well, Tim Tszyu said this. Tim Tszyu was at the fight.
Which is his job.
And so
and let's not forget, it's a journalist's job to provoke as well, to probe. You don't have to want to hear about Tim Tszyu, but he's next. He's the mandatory, and this is my job. Now I can't ask you these questions because I have to worry about my camera being smacked, if not me, because he literally threatened him, said I should fuck you up or some shit like that. That actually is on his channel. I'm gonna find it right now. It's insane. So it's like, why go? Why go if this is the treatment you're getting just because you're giving them a tough question that is within reason? It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, I feel like now, and I mean, obviously, Michelle, you've been around a lot longer, but now I think slowly, because I've built the relationship, so now it's like, with certain people, they call you dick riders. So,
yeah, you can't be. If you have a relationship with Fury, hypothetically, you're not cool with Wilder.
Yeah.
If you're cool with Wilder, Fury's team doesn't like you. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it really has been challenging to find that
happy medium.
Yeah, the happy medium, because I don't give predictions. I I don't go into anyone's camp talking about the next person. That's why I feel like over the years I've been able to sort of develop that trust, because I'm not in there going, yo, I was just in so-and-so's camp, you know, and this and that. Because they know if I'm doing that with them, I could be doing that, you know, with the next person.
Right,
so
absolutely.
I've always done my best. I prided myself on the fact that I wish everyone well. I wish them safety. But at the same time, I myself have experienced that where I almost feel like people don't want to talk to me anymore because they felt like, oh, you were doing all them interviews with Fury.
Yep.
And it was like, well,
I'm supposed to.
No, hold on. But we're talking about access here.
Right.
When you're getting the access, if you're being asked to do the interview, you're okay to go in and do the interview. Why would I not? Why would I go? I don't
Let me
know.
check in. Let me check in with Deontay Wilder real quick.
Well, let me go check with so and so just to make sure that, you know, it doesn't come off like I'm being too one-sided. Like, I'm gonna go where the access is. That's my job. But I've always done my best. Like, even when someone loses, I'll reach out to them and wish them well. And that's why, like, even when Dillian White said during the interview, our most recent interview, at the very end, he's like, you know, thank you for always being there. Because even when he had stuff going on, you know, I would just message him and just wish him, you know, positive vibes. I don't have a solution or answer to everyone's current situation,
Right.
but the least you could do is be, you know, considerate. And so I do try to do that because I'm genuinely not on anyone's side. I really wish everyone well. I respect anyone who enters the ring. That's one thing you will never catch me, you know, talking smack on no one. And that's why I was saying, even with Deontay, I'm happy to see that he's back. It'd be so unfortunate if we did see him walk away in that capacity.
Yeah, no, and I mean, what's probably out there for him, you know, a fight with he and Andy, that's something that the world would want to see, and it's a big fight.
Even the one with Joshua still, like, come on.
Yes.
Man, I remember going through all the emotions. You were there.
Yes. That was
I almost shed a tear when that fight didn't happen. I was
Yeah.
so mad. I was like, damn. So that's still there. Look, I don't know where we got off believing that a loss defines your entire career.
Unfortunately, I feel like, and let me tell you, it's like, to one guy, you know, everybody else is being annihilated, you know, but it's unfortunate because, you know, right next to our building, we have the UFC. So many champions take losses and they're still as relevant as they were before. They're still in the mix. They're still getting competitive big fights.
But in boxing, it's so different.
Let me get this screen share here to show you. This was
after the questions had been asked.
Knock his ass out. Home alone looking ass nigga.
So he calling the reporter Macaulay Culkin. Now he calls him a bitch and smacks the camera. Look. And then threatens him and says, shut up before I smack your stupid ass. He's crazy.
Well, when you're a professional athlete, you gotta be careful because
It's a lawsuit.
It's a lawsuit.
It's a lawsuit. That's what I said from day one.
A tiny smack can make you pay out $1 million because it's assault. You just don't put hands.
But look at what Benavidez says.
Okay.
From his verified Instagram, laugh out loud. Why didn't he do that to me? With the laugh out loud emoji.
I never saw that before.
And obviously he's referring to the run-in they had at the Earl Spence Ugas fight in Dallas.
Everybody in the chat saying that too. Why didn't he do that to David?
Well, David is asking why he didn't do that to him.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't see
What
that.
fight are you most excited to see that's coming up?
That's already been announced, or one that I want to see?
One that's already been both. How about that? One that's already been announced.
I mean, I think everybody wants to see Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford.
Yes.
I mean, that's the fight I really want to see. Again, another undisputed opportunity. I mean, isn't it great that we're seeing more of that?
Absolutely.
I mean, it just seems like it's been all at once, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of, next weekend we get to see it in the lightweight division.
You're not going to Australia?
No.
Yeah.
Did you consider it? No.
For my own reasons, and I don't want to get onto it because people are always like, always got something to say.
Yeah,
And it's not about the fight. It was in the restrictions.
Yeah.
That's all. I'll leave it there. I'll just.
Yeah. It's,
okay.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right. Yep. So obviously I was good there, but I was denied entry.
Really?
I was denied entry into the country.
wasn't Bill was denied entry too?
Bill
his was a bit different. But why were you?
Bill has not fully been denied, but similar thing. I had a because I have a record. I have one arrest, and so they denied me. They denied me. I disputed it. I had character evaluation, they called it. I submitted because the arrest was during my
You should have got one of your lieutenants or something to write you a letter.
So that was the thing. So my arrest was during my time in the military. So I submitted my discharge paperwork years later. Honorable discharge, my accolades, everything was listed on my discharge paperwork, and no go. So they told me, because they asked me why I was going and whatnot. And I told them, they're like, well, why didn't you apply for a work visa? I said, because your work visa takes 3 months. Like, no fight is being announced.
Yeah.
Canelo Triple G, maybe, but it's rare, 3 months, get the fuck out of here. And I still have to wait for you to approve me to book travel now, impossible. So they told me that I can start the process for a work visa. And, now they've given me context. And they said for a work visa that, they could make an exception, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So, I was denied.
Meanwhile, he lost his $350 application fee.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was denied entry. So, I was...
Has it always been this way?
Yeah.
They say so. We actually looked into it a little bit.
No, it's always been. They denied
tourism.
Yeah.
They denied Mike Tyson.
Really?
Yeah, it took 11 years later he got allowed in, and it was only to take pictures with a koala bear.
Not even for his fight.
Yeah, it was only a 2-day pass. It's insane. They didn't let him in for a fight, but they let him in to take pictures with a koala bear for 2 days.
Yeah.
They're super strict for entering Australia.
So
we got...
Yeah, no, go ahead.
We have one more. Brandon in Houston says, in your experience, which promotional company accommodates the media the best in terms of fighter availability?
I can't answer that question. My ass
I would say who accommodates the best, who accommodates the media the best, it would have to be Top Rank. Till this date, no one has ever done anything like Top Rank has done. We're talking about Australia right now. Top Rank made packages for the media to go to Pacquiao versus whoever the fuck he fought in Macau. It was like $1,500. That was a once in a lifetime experience. No media member could have ever got to Macau and stay at the Venetian for $1,500. Meanwhile, you think Lou DiBella is doing this with the Australia fight. No, he's not. But Bob has been promoting longer than all these fucks, so he understands how to promote. And you can't have a fight in Macau or Australia without U.S. media and have it mean something. You understand? People like to act like boxing is international, but the truth is America is the mecca of boxing. We have 2 states where they call the mecca of boxing. So it's they're not saying that about the O2 Center, and they're definitely not saying about the fucking Marvel Stadium. So it's crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could answer that question, but given how closely I work with everyone, I would really...
Well, no, again, I didn't answer the question. I didn't
Yeah.
answer the question from a sense of fighter availability. I'm talking about accommodations for the media from promoters.
What I will say, though, is and this is true about the UK, when in the UK, you definitely get more one-on-one opportunities. Whereas the US tends to do a lot of scrum, and I don't get it.
No, paparazzi.
It's just, it's very I don't know.
I've heard of that literally from every UK guy.
Yeah, that's why it's shocking when you come back here and you're like, are you serious? I'm not making money off of a video that 30 people are sharing. It's just not. And at the end of the day, it is a business. It's not a hobby. It's a business. You're trying to operate a business and you have to make money. It's sort of like I have to make money to not only pay my bills, but also keep the business going with the travel and the correspondence and everything like that. So I don't understand why some people don't grasp that.
Let me tell you.
No, they want you to promote their fighter and their fights for free and follow their rules and, just do things the way that they want, how they want. It's insane.
Let me tell you, it was funny, given that it is a Tank Fight Week, when he fought at the StubHub, it was supposed to be Abner, and they changed it to, who was it, Nunez, I think. Mm-hmm. When he fought at the StubHub, the day before, so the day of the weigh-in, Broner's in the hotel lobby, I get him one-on-one. And then everybody just comes fucking rushing in, right? And cool. Everybody gets the interview. I ask a question. Broner goes off during the interview. 3 channels used that quote, of course. One channel did over 1 million. The other 2 did like over 500,000, and my fucking audio was no good. Aww. So I never even.
Wow.
I was with you at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you weren't happy.
See, this is how I see it.
But
if you're standing there by yourself and you caught them one-on-one, then I don't even approach.
Exactly. I should respect you.
Yeah, you should respect the fact that someone has already grabbed them one-on-one. It doesn't matter if you're in front of the camera or behind it. It should just be like a respect factor.
Absolutely.
But if, let's say there's 3 of you and you're standing by the door and you happen to catch them coming in and you're all 3 filming, then that's a bit different.
Yeah,
that's scrum, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But like when I do interviews and people even think about it, I go, stop recording. I will literally say, stop recording. This is a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And they'll go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I don't.
You're lucky because I think it's because you're a female. They actually stop because, he knows like someone will stop. Another person will just, and you never know because now everyone is recording with a phone. So you don't know whether he's a fan or he's a reporter. All of a sudden, that fan you thought was just a fan with a cell phone and no mic, it's on Fight.
You know what's funny is when we were in Texas, when Billy Joe was fighting Canelo, I was interviewing Tyson Fury in the lobby. And Tyson's the one who clocked it because I was looking this way and he was looking that way. And someone came up and was filming from this way. And it was actually Tino.
Mm-hmm,
but he didn't know that Tino was just taking a photograph for me, to say, oh, I got you behind the scenes doing an interview with Tyson Fury. And Tyson stops. He goes, hey, get the fuck away. But he didn't know. He thought he was recording the interview. And Tyson even knew then, like, stop, like, don't record because it's like, it was a one-on-one interview. But then afterwards, I told Tyson, I was like, I appreciate you doing that because you thought someone was recording me, but it was like, he's a friend of mine. So he was like,
but that's how sad this business has become, that's what's happening out there. Like, you don't know if he's taking a picture, if he's checking his batteries, is that camera rolling? Like, because some people will legit stand there, they have their camera just recording while they're having a conversation with Danny, but they're recording your interview. They're people are so slick, and that's why I've just removed myself from those situations.
2018, I was supposed to go to New York, and Ness calls me. He's like, I need you here a day earlier. They just announced, I forget what press conference. It was Danny Jacobs, maybe Deryachenko. So we get out there, and maybe the day after, 2 days after that, was Billy Joe and Boo Boo press conference in Boston. So we stand in line, I'd say, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour to get a one-on-one with Eddie. And Eddie's pretty good about giving interviews. Yeah. So we wait there. Ness is conducting the interview. There's a guy, I see him with a phone. He's recording onto the side. And I was like, can you stop recording? Ness is doing the interview. And he's like, no, I can record. I'm like, he's conducting on one-on-one. I'm like, you can wait just like everybody else. He says, no. Ness is interviewing Eddie. He says, Eddie, 1 second. He's like, if he just told you to stop recording, why are you going to keep recording? Would you like me to smack the shit out of you? And the guy just fucking like, because it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? And
who was this person?
A fucking newspaper guy. A newspaper
So
guy.
he was ready to grab your quotes and take it like it was his work. See, I love
because
you know what? Do you know what?
You know what they would write? They would write, Eddie told reporters.
Yes. Oh, that happens to me all the time. I'll see something get written about, and I'm like, that is my damn quote. That is from but nowhere is there a link to my YouTube interview. Hell, they don't even mention the name. They'll just be like, was told, at the press conference, da 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 da. I'm like,
and
oh
it's
my
sad
God.
because you only see reporters from 10 years ago do that. You know, it's the older guys that refuse to give you the credit. You know, you're a YouTuber to them. It doesn't matter. So they will refuse to give you the credit because Boxing Scene gives you credit.
I've been written as a
Fight Hype
podcaster.
gives you credit. You know, Boxing 24 gives you credit. Fight News gives you credit. There's a lot of big sites in boxing that give you credit, but the majors, the ESPNs, the Yahoos, man, they gonna change that around.
Do you know what though? I've actually gone as far as to emailing people. I'll find I'll get to the source and I'll send them an email. I go, I need you to add the link to my interview on this, and I need you to credit it accordingly because that was my quote.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, so sorry.
It's just so tiring.
No,
though.
but it's journalism 101. I'm not even a fucking journalist. I don't consider myself a journalist. I'm a reporter. I'm an interviewer. Like it's very different from a journalist. And even I know that that's journalism 101.
It's just so tiring for me to have to go out there and tell you how to do your job and ask you, can you give me a link back?
Oh, but Naz, I got copyright happy.
Oh, you use the feature. I don't even use it.
You're
I
damn
don't
right.
even use it.
You even think of using
I used it
your ass
once.
is gonna get a copy.
Let me tell you something. That
strike.
ruined my relationship with Ellie. I used it once and it copyrighted Ellie. Oh my God. Remember we just seen him in he still brought it up like, Ness, you copyrighted me. I'm like, bro, that was the new feature, bro. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what it was then, but I know that now you can manually do it. Now, we all share footage sometimes, like networks will come in and
give
say,
us footage, yes.
Right. So
That's exactly what happened.
I'm very mindful of like who I'm copywriting. But for some odd reason, there tends to be like these 3 accounts in Russia that just tend to take all of my content.
Yep.
And I remember one time they had like the views were insane on one, and I think it was a Pacquiao interview. And I was so pissed because mine had barely cracked 100K and theirs had like 300K. And I was so mad because I'm like, you are literally taking money from my pocket and you didn't do anything. You didn't do any of the work. All you did was steal my content. So now I don't even give a shit. Do you know how many times I get emailed going, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm just a new boxing account. Could you please just remove it and I won't do it again? I go, no, you should know better. You need to not do that at all. At all. Like, when did you ever think it's okay to go steal someone's content and monetize off of it? That's the worst part. You click the link and there's like ads running on it. It pisses me off. I'm like, bro, you didn't even, I had to pay to be there. I had to pay.
You had to travel. You had to create a relationship.
And you took money out of my pocket.
Absolutely. You had to create that relationship just to be there. So it's unfortunate, but luckily for you, you're on to CBS and cornhole, you know, and it'll give you at least, you know, some time away from this very toxic sport. I love it though. Do you watch other sports?
I used to. I never had time.
You don't have the time now. What did you used to watch?
Baseball.
Okay. Yeah,
My
I don't watch
nickname is
anymore.
actually Dodge. So a lot of people call me Dodger because I was such a huge Dodgers fan.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That's back in the day.
To this day. Yo, and that's why he needs to come back. You see that? Everybody is like, you know, we all say one of his quotes, one way or another.
Like, think about it. Like, for Radio Raheem, that shit was so huge. And not solely because of that, but, yo, he was on Rogan talking about that. Like, that shit was huge for sure, you know? That shit was huge.
Someone said in the comments, I'm going to steal this interview.
No, look, let me tell you, it happened.
They will.
No, it happened.
Someone will post it. Listen, didn't they just do it?
I was gonna say it just happened to me. So when Haney Kambosos was announced,
that was sad.
Shakur was in camp for the Valdez fight. So Haney had to come do a, you know, like the media photo shoot to promote the fight, you know, everything. So, I mean, it was closed off to the media, but we were invited in through Haney's camp, and I'm interviewing Shakur, and he gets up and starts walking as we're talking, like during the interview, and he goes greets Devin, and you know he's like, how much you weighing right now? You looking a little, and I caught that moment, and this fucking channel stole to Michelle, and these fuckers had like maybe 10 videos on their page, and the shit did like 100K plus. And I'm like, you fucking cocksuckers.
At least they're more than likely they weren't monetizing if they only had like.
Yeah, I'm sure, but
you know what I mean. But it did suck because it took money from.
I mean, it took eyes away from you know, like mine, like motherfucker.
I know, it sucks.
I got that invitation, bitch. Like, why are you treating me like this? But no, it had. But see, same thing. I don't report. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I got some more here for you. Coach Myers, all the way in Connecticut, says, good morning. Is it more challenging being an attractive woman covering boxing? I'm sure some boxers try to shoot their shot at you while doing interviews. How do you deal with situations like that?
I feel like that happens more in the beginning than it does now. I think people kind of figured it out by now. Like, there's I think the boundary, like they know they'll be crossing a boundary if they even attempted. You know, some people can be flirty and that's fine and all. I don't mind a bit of banter or flirt. In fact, I kind of like low-key respect someone for trying, but I will find it disrespectful if they don't know how to accept the fact that I'm good, thanks. And if they get weird about it, that's happened before. And you have to almost pretend like it never happened. So, I don't have that problem anymore.
Thank God.
I really don't. Everyone just sort of leaves me be, so which is great.
Good news. We got Big Casual that says, you've been interviewing top boxing names for years. What's your most memorable interview over the years?
Ooh, I thought it would come quick.
Yeah, I thought it would be Fury. I want to say people probably know you best for the interview with Fury laying in bed and you being in the side on the chairs. Like, I think, is that not your biggest? I don't check numbers. I'm just saying I feel like it's got a lot of exposure because of who he is.
I've done so many. I mean, there was one where Tyson, when I asked him like what he likes to do for fun, and he was like, I like having sex. And I feel like that was like a line that constantly people go, I remember that interview. It was so great.
It's funny because my most memorable was Angel Garcia. We were in Philly, and probably there's maybe a handful of interviews where I'm in front of the camera, and that was the first one. And Danny was getting ready for the Sean Porter fight, if I'm not mistaken. And Angel goes, they talk about no sex in camp. He's like, yeah, just the last 2 weeks. He's like, because anything else, you know, it's not worth it, you know, but for fighters that do more than 2 weeks, that's fine. Just have your girl call me and I'll take care of them while you're in camp. And that moment was just, it threw me off, and it was such a funny moment to me. So like for me, that's always been, that's for sure one of my most
memorable.
Memorable.
I think my most memorable interviews are with Tyson Fury, but I can't pinpoint one specific because it's so off the wall. Like all of our interviews were, I had no idea where it was going. Like I always see those clips for like no context Fury or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. I forget he said half the shit he did. Like sometimes I'm sitting there watching it and cracking up as if like I've never seen it.
Have you seen the one with Hearn? No Context Hearns? They have one too.
His
was first. His was first.
Yeah, that was the original.
Oh, was it?
For Eddie Hearn, No Context Hearn.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yep, that was the original.
But for me, like looking back, there were some things that like Tyson had said, because Tyson is Tyson. Like that's the thing, is he really is harmless, and people take it as like, oh, you're flirting or he's flirting. I'm like, that's just Tyson. He's that way. He doesn't mean any harm by it, and he doesn't cross the boundary. He just says funny off the wall shit. And if you don't know how to take his personality, then you can be offended.
Did you guys have any crazy like party nights when you guys were on tour together? Because I know you hosted. You've hosted multiple tours for Tyson, right?
Yeah, a lot. He has a new one coming up too, but I'm more than likely not going to be.
And for those who aren't familiar, he does like meet and greet tours in the UK.
Yeah. Where
he goes to different cities.
Yeah.
So you've kind of.
I've done, at one point we did 12 cities.
Wow.
It was pretty consecutive too. It was a lot. I was like, man, how do people do it when they're on the road like artists? And they're like, the next night they're doing a full-blown set. Yeah. I'm like, I'm just literally getting in a car and driving from one town to the next. But the challenge was doing the interviews back to back to back. But they also wanted a format. They wanted to still kind of start at the beginning, like, how it all began, like with his father, all these different things. So Tyson started to get to a point where he was like, all right, ask me something different. I'm like, they want me to do this. Like, but then it was like constantly being challenged with like staying on my toes and finding new things to talk about and how to ask him things that seem different, but were very still on topic for what they wanted me to cover. So it was a lot of fun. But any of them will tell you, I do not party. I do not party. I like to be in bed. I like pajamas. I'm kid you not. They call me Grandma Phelps.
See,
I don't go out. And if I do go out, I like a good dinner, a few cocktails, and then I'm done.
See, and the reason I asked, because you brought up the music. I could imagine being on tour, and I'm like, how do they keep up? And they're partying, they're clubbing. So I was like, maybe it was a little bit of that, when you guys were on tour.
There was actually one time when Deontay Wilder did a tour, and I did one of the stops. But we went out because it was actually my birthday.
Oh, okay.
So we all went out partying after that.
Okay. Okay. I'm assuming Telly was there as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Just the team?
Yep,
okay.
Just the team. But we were already going to this club in, I think it was Birmingham. And obviously everyone's like, what are we doing? And I'm like, well, it's kind of my birthday. You guys, like, if we want to go, like, we could do something.
Right.
So yeah, that was probably the only time I've been out in a long time.
I have Victor Banuelos. He says, obviously Canelo losing is good for the sport, but do you believe it's actually changes the game? Will some of these guys start fighting each other? These guys are still calling out Canelo instead of Bivol. Also, what 5 fights do you really want to see within the next 3 to 4 years? So that's a lot of questions. Starting back, he says, do you think Canelo losing actually changes the landscape?
No, I don't. Did you guys think that it changed the landscape? I don't. I think him moving up was. I feel like if he lost, then it's like, oh, he dared to be great, and then if he won, then it just goes to show, like, how talented he really is. But I don't think it takes away from anything. I know Benavidez said the other day that he's like, look, I'm not waiting on a Canelo fight. I wish we would all just fight each other already. And I support that. I think, I know that him and Caleb Plant are likely to have their fight. Is it next?
Not sure.
Those are the rumors right now.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Benavidez.
But
Caleb wants it too. Like that's the fight he wants.
Yeah, I was hearing that Plant Durrell was likely next, given that Plant
he needs a tune-up fight too. Yeah.
So I don't know if they give him a tune-up. I don't know if they give him a Benavidez fight, but like the thing is, Canelo's still the undisputed champion at 168.
Yes,
so it's like
is.
that hasn't changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he lost at 168.
Yeah.
And then that changes the landscape.
Right, because now he doesn't have the belts.
But it's like, I mean, were you surprised that Bivol won? Because I'm not surprised, but I believe everyone believed that Canelo was going to win.
I did believe Canelo was going to win. I was surprised at how dominant Bivol was. I mean, it wasn't close.
Yeah, not even.
Like, Canelo, nothing. I mean, the arm shots he tried, like, it wasn't effective. Like, he was still jabbing them all night, still throwing. I mean, it was simple. It was simple. It was like jab, right hand. He tried that left hook a couple times and missed pretty bad. But he was dominant. He dominated that fight. So that's what surprised me. Not that him winning, like I said, I did pick Canelo, but him winning, like, he's a champion. He's a bigger guy. That didn't surprise me, but how dominant he...
Well, it's funny because when he talked about the rematch immediately after, the first thing I said to everybody was like, he ain't going to rematch Bivol next. They're like, no, what? Yeah, you will. He just said it. And I'm like, no, he won't. He won't rematch Bivol next. And so I wasn't surprised that they still went ahead and did the Triple G fight. So I don't think it changed anything. I think Canelo is still, pound for pound. I could still argue he's pound for pound number one. I mean, I could still argue that.
A lot of people could. But I wanted to ask you. So for you, do you think that if the rematch does happen in May, how they're perhaps suggesting, do you think that Bivol does indeed come down to 68?
Wait, so what in May? What do you mean?
They're suggesting.
Oh, the following May.
Yes, the next May would be the Bivol rematch.
Right.
Is what's being suggested.
Bivol told me that post fight when I did the interview with him. So,
but then it maybe like a day or two.
He didn't say like. He just suggested maybe I fight him at 168 for all the belts. Like that's what he suggested, but I don't think that. I think Bivol would probably still stay at 175.
Do you think? So do you think that that's what he should do?
Bivol?
Yeah.
Stay at 175?
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting because they've been saying even before the fight happened that he could make 68.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm Bivol and I just had this easy time with Canelo, and I can make the weight, why not go become an undisputed champion? I mean, Joe Smith and Beterbiev are already scheduled for June 18th. So he'd literally be like 2 fights away from undisputed. Mm-hmm. The winner of Joe Smith Beterbiev and then fighting Canelo. Mm-hmm. I don't see what Canelo, like, I do think he can make adjustments in a rematch. I just don't know that it'll be enough to actually win the fight. Like I don't see Canelo never hurt, stunned, wobbled, nothing with Bivol. Mm-hmm. So it's like.
But did you think that it was more of a size, like a weight thing, or did you feel like it was a skills thing?
I think it was game plan. He just chose the wrong game plan. It seems like he went for the same Callum Smith game plan and it didn't work, and he never let up. He just kept going for the arm. I guess eventually hoping that it would drop or that he couldn't use it. But Bivol was stronger and thicker as a naturally bigger man. So his arm didn't get fucked up like Callum's. That's all I could think of. I mean, he didn't do anything different. He didn't adjust at all that night. He just kept trying the same thing over and over to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then towards the end, it was kind of like not trying to get, knocked out, I felt like. Did you feel that way being there live? That the last few rounds he was more on it's not like he was running necessarily, but he also wasn't trying to engage as much. I felt like he was just trying to be more on the defensive side. Kind of realized like 10th round, like I lost the fight. I'm not getting the knockout. And I felt like he kind of went into defensive mode like the last couple rounds.
Like he kind of just gave up. Not gave up, but
I
think he looked flustered. He didn't seem like he had a plan B.
Yeah.
Am I wrong for saying that?
No.
He didn't have a plan B.
No, because it was the same thing all night.
That's exactly what it was.
It was the same thing all night. And then like the weird thing too to me was like, I don't know, like if you went up to 75 before and knocked out Kovalev, granted, Kovalev is older or was older. Why I really don't get the vegan diet. Like that shit right there just doesn't make sense to me. Like why would I go vegan and go up in weight?
Yeah, but you're just as a Canelo fan looking for reasons why. Like, no one questions vegan any other time. He lost today, so it's a problem. I know this was his first camp, but we have other fighters that go vegan and don't lose.
No, absolutely.
Some of them live by it and swear by it.
Absolutely.
Timothy Bradley.
Absolutely, but I'm saying like he was jumping up to the highest he's ever jumped up, which he's only done once before, and he struggled with Kovalev. Most people had him down at the time of the knockout. So I don't know. There was just that was weird, and like you said, there was no plan B. There was no adjusting. So I don't know. I don't know that even if he does make adjustments, could he win a rematch? Yeah. Even if it is at 68. I don't know that he can win a rematch. Like, Bivol won decisively, despite what the judges said.
I mean, again, there's a sense of familiarity when you're in the ring with someone. So maybe he feels like he can make some adjustments that he didn't make during the fight. We'll see. I got Lidge Low in Decatur, Georgia that says, living in Las Vegas, do you smoke marijuana?
No. No.
So we're not having a smoke break after this.
I like hookah though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Danny has the ultimate hookah spot here in Vegas.
That's the spot.
She's been there.
Yes,
okay.
That's her spot.
The truth comes out, Michelle. You tried to tell me that was your spot.
No, that was my spot. It was funny. So we were at a different bar, and it was like a group of us. I forget for what fight, maybe Crawford, Porter. I can't really remember, but she's like, yeah, I got a great hookah spot. I'm like, me too. And it was the same spot.
Oh, okay.
The same spot.
That's dope.
So, a couple of us went out for that fight or that night. And I actually ended up there last night.
But wait, did you know someone who worked there?
No.
So it's your spot, Danny, because Danny knows that bartender.
Oh, yeah. yeah. I mean, I've just been there a lot. Well, I used to go there a lot. So, I like the laid back, relaxed vibe.
Yeah, me too.
That whole plaza, let me tell you.
You went to have sushi last night.
Yes. And let me tell you, that plaza, that shopping center is probably the best shopping center in all of Las Vegas.
Yeah. You could go have sushi on a date.
Very good sushi, bro. Like,
tell me after, because I don't want you to blow it up here, so your spot doesn't get taken.
They're on TBV. They need to know when you come to Vegas, you could go to Danny's parking lot, and
it's across the street from the Virgin lot. Bro, that whole parking lot is popping.
Fire.
Let me tell you.
So you're gonna have dinner and sushi, right? And then after that,
hold on, it doesn't have to be sushi because they have the very delicious Korean barbecue spot right there.
Yes, that's how I know.
Very delicious Korean barbecue spot right there. Hold on, but if you want to get a little bit more elegant, one of the highest rated Italian restaurants in that parking lot, right? But, maybe you want to do something chill and you want to have dinner and hookah at the same time. They got the lounge in the same parking lot right there. And then after, bro, they got insomnia cookies right there. But maybe before all of this, you need an outfit. Bro, they have Undefeated, one of the...
I know where it is. I go to Undefeated all the time.
Exactly.
In that shopping center?
In that shopping center.
Oh.
So, bro, that whole shopping center is popping.
See, I would do a movie, stop to get sushi. Don't even have to move my car once I park.
All there.
Go get a little macadamia from Insomnia and then shoot to the hookah spot to listen to decent music. I'm not a hookah smoker, but when I went with him, they have decent music.
Yeah, they do.
And obviously they serve drinks and what.
They serve drinks.
And food.
So, yeah, they definitely have food as well. So we ate there. I know you were like, eh.
And Danny's bartender is very nice. We have Young Tigre that says, congrats on all your success, Michelle. Who would you like to see Danny Garcia fight next?
Ooh. Good question.
Let me think about that one. Well, isn't he moving to 154?
Rumor is he should be fighting David Benavidez' brother, Jose Benavidez Jr.
It's in the works.
It's the rumors.
That's the rumors.
Huh. Well,
what do you think of that potential matchup?
Yeah, I mean... a great test for Danny at 154. Obviously, it would be great to see him face Charlo, who's undisputed, eventually. But in the meantime, I would say that's a good fight. But I would definitely, to answer that question, I would say Charlo ultimately. Danny is a former world champion, so it'd be good to see him fight for another title in a new division. Although I would love to see him be more active.
Yeah,
Danny.
He's not nearly as active as I think he should be, and or if he's gonna want to go on and face, or attempt at another world title at 154.
We didn't see him all of 2021. His last fight was December 5th, 2020 against Errol Spence. Like, we haven't seen him since. So definitely agree on the activity portion.
It's kind of like when people ask me, what do you think of Canelo versus Triple G, the trilogy? Who do you have there? And I'm like, obviously I don't predict or make any predictions or anything like that, but one must acknowledge that Triple G has not been very active the last 2.5 years. I think he fought twice in 2.5 years, whereas Canelo's fighting 3 times. Did he fight 3 times?
Do you think he gets the knockout though?
He's fought 4 times. He's fought 4 times.
Steve Rose, Sedimenta.
No, in the last 2.5 years.
2.5.
Because of
the pandemic.
Well, everyone else was fighting over the pandemic.
Yeah, no. So he fought Sedimenta and then now Murata. That's it.
But remember when he announced Murata? Remember the initial one? It was early in the year. They were already planning for December. I'm like, Gee, you are gonna fight before that, right? Or you literally going the whole
No, you're
year?
right. It was like April.
It was
May.
early what 2021.
Yes.
And then he announced it for fucking New Year's Eve. I was like,
And then-
wait, what?
And then of course it gets pushed.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic again, and
And prior to that, when he did fight over the pandemic, that was the same weekend as Canelo versus
Callum Smith. It was the night before.
Yep. That it had been a year and 15, 16 months, I think it was.
October that was December, so it had been 14 months.
Yeah.
It had been 14 months. And I'm gonna be honest, even in that fight, I'm like, I didn't even know Sedimenta. G did not look good. It's like, yeah, he got the not, but it's like he looked tired. He did not look good. His fight before that, Deryachenko, most people felt he lost that. Myself,
I actually thought Derevchenko won.
Yeah, I did as well. I did as well. So it's funny. Marcos pulled up the media scores from Canelo Triple G. I know you saw it. Canelo Triple G2. Ringside Media gave their scores on who won the fight, and out of 34 people, only 2 picked Canelo.
Yeah.
In that second fight, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. I'm actually excited to actually go to this fight because the first 2 I hadn't been able to attend.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and that was because I was overseas.
Whoa!
It was Super Series was one. And then the other one, I can't recall what it was, but I wasn't able to come back in time to do it and then go back. It was something like that.
Yeah,
so.
because I want to say for the second one.
So for the second fight, screen share, I got Mike Tyson says Canelo won. Andre Ward says Canelo won. George Foreman, Canelo. Mikey Garcia, Canelo. David Hay, Canelo. Michael Conlon, Canelo. Julio Cesar Chavez, Canelo. David Lemieux, Canelo. Bundridge, Canelo. Miguel Cotto, Canelo. Shields said Canelo. Jorge Arce said Canelo. Truax, former champion, said Canelo. Garcia said Canelo by sweep. That's 8-4. And that's Robert Garcia. Amir Khan said Canelo. I mean, where did you find? Oh, you said 22 media members.
Yeah, it was Ringside Media that was at.
Better for fighters that think you won, because Earl thought he won. Linares thought he won. Billy Joe thought he won. Even Floyd Mayweather Jr. thought he won. I think we can end it there. That's his rival, and he basically tells you when he's ducking and when he's not. If he thought he won, he won.
Yeah, no. Here, I'm pulling it up.
Do you know what's interesting is when I saw it, I thought it was going to be a draw.
The second fight.
The second one.
Oh wow.
And that's why, looking back, I could, I probably changed my mind. I did have Canelo edging it, but it was in the moment. I felt like this is definitely a draw. This is definitely a draw.
Austin, can I get a screen share? So yeah, this is media row basically from the fight.
There's me, Golovkin.
Yeah. So 115, 113. I'm trying to see. I want to say so 34 for Golovkin, 2 for Canelo, and then there was 15 for draw. So obviously not everybody's in here, but yeah. That's weird, or not weird, but that's funny to see, Ness, that you pulled up the media, or you pulled up the fighters and I pulled up the media, and it was
opposites.
Total opposites.
But again, fighters know. Look, Cotto lost to Canelo and still said Canelo beat Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Shields thinks she's the best in the world and still said Canelo beat Triple G.
Which contracts are signed for Clarissa Shields
and Marshall
and Savannah Marshall September.
Look, even Adam Booth, man, come on.
So they're saying either September 3rd or 10th will be that fight. You excited for that one?
Yeah.
You excited?
Is it? Do they say where it's going to be? Is it going to be UK?
It has to
Probably
be.
It's
UK.
definitely gonna be the UK.
I still might have
It's
the
on
notification.
Boxer, so it's got to be out there.
Oh, that's right.
I do want to do one final screen share before we go ahead and wrap up. Take a picture with Michelle. Check it out. Do you think he retires or really fight Ngannou in the ring? He's rolling around in the mat today with Nate Diaz. This got to be some good publicity for Tyson to get the old boxing world stirred up as to whether he's really retiring and going into MMA. Rolling around with, what would you consider Nate a legend? I don't watch these sports.
Yeah, Diaz is definitely a legend.
The Diaz brothers are definitely.
Look at Fury's
Fury's
message. Nice bit of rolling around on the mat. So
That's
thoughts,
actually
Danny?
that's actually Nick Diaz. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Nick.
That's his older brother.
The two of you guys are actually the MMA people here. So what's that mean for you?
You know, I think the Diaz brothers are legends in the MMA world. They're definitely some gangsters, that's for sure.
100%.
No, I always like to see fighters interact, even in the same sport. When I see boxers sparring each other, like top guys sparring each other, I like to see that shit. But to see, top guys in different sports, that's always good too. And I feel like it helps one another, right? Because you have your audience and I have my audience. So I think that's really cool to see.
For sure.
So, Michelle, you don't really watch any MMA, do you?
I do lightly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I pretty much know the gist of it.
Right.
But to answer that question, I think Tyson is like kind of, like how I'm feeling about boxing. Like just needing a break, just needing a reset. I think because I asked him post-fight, after the Dillian White fight, I said, or asked him, is it more of a you've lost your passion, or is it that you're just does he want to still do combat, or is it just boxing specific? And it was boxing specific. So I think what happens is you just get so caught up in doing the same thing again and again and again and again that I think that it would be a nice change for him to go on to do exhibitions and do other things. And
I think it also has to do with the fact that he's conquered his sport. So it's like he can't go any higher. So, there's nothing else to do.
He can.
What do you think is out there?
If he wants to be undisputed all at once. Because he's held all the titles.
I don't know that anyone thinks Usyk beats him, man. I'm being real. Do you guys think Usyk beats him?
Well,
you spent a lot of time over there near Usyk. I mean, does he? Do you think he has a shot?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd be an idiot to sit here and say that Usyk doesn't have a shot at it, but I'd also be an idiot to say that, Tyson Fury is so dominant in this. I mean, he's literally. It can be argued if anyone can ever beat Tyson Fury. I mean, he's just a freak of nature.
No, he
really is something special. I mean, but I can't put anything past anybody. I'm honestly, you just never know. Before you
came on, we were talking obviously with Wilder saying that he's gonna come back. And you mentioned it, AJ Wilder is still such a huge fight. Yeah. And we were discussing, if Fury actually steps away, he might pull a Mayweather. Maybe wait for the heavyweight landscape to get a bit interesting or intriguing for him and come out of retirement a year and a half from now and, step back into the mix.
Tyson Fury will step back into the mix. I'm confident of that. I mean, his own father said it. I truly, in my heart of hearts, when listening to Tyson and where he's at right now, he wants a change. Doesn't mean he doesn't love what he does. He just wants a change right now. I literally keep saying it's like where I'm at. Give someone a nice reset and then let them come back and they'll be even better. You know what I mean? Just everyone needs to clear their head. It becomes so repetitive and redundant. The same media, the same thing
questions
over and over and over, and it's just sort of like, oh, okay. Like, I know I have these obligations to make with networks, but now he's sitting in a position where he can kind of control what his next move is, and he wants to do exhibition, so let him do an exhibition. And I think that's a fantastic fight to do with Ngannou. I mean, it's gonna sell like a motherfucker. I mean, it's insane how big that fight is in terms of the crossover. It's, in my opinion, it completely blows out Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather numbers.
I don't know, but maybe because it's heavyweights. Maybe
I'd
heavyweights.
Watch it.
I'm watching.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know because Francis Ngannou to me is far of the star that Conor is.
Not even close. Yeah.
But but you're also talking about Tyson Fury. I
Yeah,
mean, Tyson.
but you're talking about Floyd Mayweather. Like, you get what I'm saying?
But heavyweights always draw, though.
they're
No,
bigger.
yeah, no,
big
and
guys always draw.
I think it could be a mega success, million plus, but those are huge numbers. Those are huge numbers, and
But they are heavyweights, though.
I think it does.
and if they do pull it off, I mean, that just goes to show, you know, how.
Well, remember,
how
a lot
big
of
they
people
are.
didn't believe that Tyson Fury versus Dillian White was going to sell the way that it did. No one believed that because Dillian wasn't doing any PR, and they're like, "Oh, it's not. It's going to be the promotion's falling flat. This, and that." I mean, it still sold what it sold, and it was still a draw, a massive draw.
You were there, right?
Yeah.
How was that most electric fight you've ever been to?
Okay, I'm gonna sound like an absolute snob when I say this, but it was amazing, absolutely amazing. But because I had covered so many with Anthony Joshua who sold 70, 80,000, it was like I couldn't tell the difference between 80,000 and 90,000. It was just like I just know it was packed. That's it. So I couldn't tell that difference between, you know, the extra, you
10,
know,
20,000.
well, I mean,
10,000.
what was it? I think one of AJ sold 90,000.
Yes.
So this one
With
was 94.
Klitschko.
This one was
AJ
94,000.
Okay, so it was just 4,000 more.
It
then.
wasn't like I hadn't already seen that, but
Okay.
but it was absolutely amazing. I always get chills when I'm at those sold out stadiums and you hear the crowd chanting and singing, and it's just next level.
You know, we were both there in Dallas for Canelo-Billy Joe, which holds the record largest indoor boxing fight in the U.S., 73,126. That was dope, but the atmosphere for Wilder Fury 1 in L.A.,
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever came across something like that, truly. But I also never covered a Floyd fight. But Wilder Fury 1 in Los Angeles, Staples Center, let's not forget. I wasn't there for the second one. I was you know, playing soldier across the way. But the first one, bro, that atmosphere, I will never forget it. I will never forget it. And I just thought on Floyd, Ricky Hatton, and what I'm like, if this is what this is like, what was Floyd, Ricky Hatton?
Insane.
You
Because he
know.
brought 30.
Yeah, wasn't it that they ran out of beer?
They ran out of the beer.
MGM ran out of beer.
The MGM Grand Garden Arena ran out of beer before the main event took
That's
off.
crazy. That's crazy.
That's the UK fight
That's their
fans for
culture,
you.
man.
That
They
is.
love to have beer and
Yep.
boxing, man.
Yep.
Honestly, I wish that we had fans as enthusiastic as them because, you know, they love their fighters. Regardless of losses and wins, they're there to cheer. But if you want to direct our audience, any projects, anything that you want to do, or just social media, please give it out at this time. And we're going to go ahead and take a picture with Michelle Phelps and be back.
Yeah, I'm launching a podcast. Actually, I'll be announcing the platform soon, but it's a paranormal podcast.
Okay.
Paranormal.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah? You're into that? Like,
So are you going to
yeah?
be...
Super.
Yeah.
So are you going to be like...
It's called Behind the Ghosts.
Okay, nice. Spin off of Behind the Gloves.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
are you gonna do like your own documentaries, or are you going to like
So-
find
Are you telling
movies?
stories or
Yeah.
So the podcast for Behind the Ghosts is going to be on the Behind the Glove. It's like the Behind the Gloves podcast. But my podcast, personal one, is going to be called What the Phelps Is That?
Okay.
Instead of like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And I'm going to have like all different stories and different documentation and stuff like that because
That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah.
I love it.
because I actually like UFO hunt and I know I'm actually going this Sunday.
out here in
Yeah.
Vegas?
Yeah.
There's
Area-
spot. How do you
Area
UFO hunt?
51.
What do you mean? How do you UFO hunt
Like, what
out
do you
here?
do? I don't.
Area
Bro, let me
51,
tell
dog.
you, she was like, yeah, we're gonna go out. I forget what fucking fight that was. It was a big fight. We're gonna go out, son. Come join us. What the you fucking?
So you just go to
Yeah,
the
what do you
desert
do?
and
What
look
do you
for
do?
lights.
No, well, we go just outside of the boundaries of Area 51. I mean, you're sharing the sky with their, with
Right.
whatever they're doing. You're looking in that direction. You'd be surprised what you find. I'm going to be releasing like pictures and videos of what you do find.
I'm tuning in.
And again, you don't know if it's like the little aliens. You just know an unidentified flying object. That's a UFO. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not saying that it's like full of little green men, you know, shooting back off into God knows where. But there's also a lot of proof that there are some weird stuff like that going on.
From the government.
I mean, the government just released the Pentagon just released 1,500 pages of more documentation.
I do know
Bro,
that.
can I just say this real quick? Because this is what I genuinely, this is a topic on my podcast, is the Pentagon released documents saying that there have been unaccounted for pregnancies after abductions. Now, this is straight from the Pentagon. I want to know where the fuck those kids are.
Yeah.
No, I want to know where those kids are. I want to know, well, what you mean? Like, if you documented someone got pregnant, surely y'all are like, they had the baby and you're keeping track of like what? What?
They got that baby in some
Scientific lab somewhere.
some glass case.
Right. Some
But like,
fucking lab.
that's bizarre. And yet it's not even like a major topic on mainstream media. It's bizarre to me. So like, there's so many things that people want to dispute and say, oh, it's not real. I'm like, bro, this is coming from the government.
Pentagon,
do you know the only reason that we're even getting this information is because of the Freedom of Information Act? Do you know that they try to put caps on things? So they're like the only release, like for example, when the vaccines, right? When they were like, they're going to give us the information 78 years from now.
Whoa.
I'm like, well, we'll all be dead. So it'll be like our kids' kids that are going to learn about it. But why would you like keep the findings like under lock like that unless you're hiding something? Like, so to me, it just like screams sketchy. So when you get these documentations where the government is talking about, you know, like legit beings and different objects they found or flying saucers that they found, reverse engineering them. I'm like, bro, like, come on. Like,
we need to know.
So
I'm tuning in. So when is this launching?
So it's going to be the first week of June.
Okay.
What the Phelps is that, but I'll be announcing the platform that I'm putting it on.
Okay.
And then the other one, obviously for Behind the Gloves, which is Behind the Ghost, which will feature boxing personalities.
Okay.
So they'll be telling me their paranormal stories, what they've encountered and stuff. Like, it's quite interesting, actually.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's because I grew up in a haunted house, so I have like a lot of stories myself. A lot of different things have happened. I have video footage over the years of really weird, like paranormal stuff going on in the house. So yeah, it's just something I'm passionate about. Like I was saying to Danny, I was like, for me, it's just about getting that excitement back for what I do. And sometimes I need to be able to like kind of do other things so that it's not always so one-sided with something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm still incorporating like boxing into what I also am like passionate about, but just in a different capacity.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, and along with the ACL, the American Cornhole League. And I have another announcement early June. And yeah.
Well,
congrats on all the success.
Congrats on your continued
Let everybody
success.
know your Instagram handle too.
Oh, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and then Twitter is Michelle Phelps.
All right, we're going to take this quick intermission, and we'll be back after this picture. Peace.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.